So today we're going to go ahead and we're going to make sort of a large flat bowl and how to go about doing that. So I've got 7.5 pounds of clay here. All right. And we're just going to try to get it all kind of centered up a little bit. So I like this to go ahead and do a little bit of wheel wedging, roughly 3 times with this to really get this clay body nice and homogenized, okay? So we're going to do this one more. All right, and that's probably pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and drive this down. And the real key to a plate like this is once you've created this shape, I'm going to go ahead and take the palm of my hand and create this sort of triangle shape and kind of push this out, okay? So we're going to take this, I use the palm of my hand just like this, and we're going to go ahead and slowly roll this out. And I'm going to continue to compress the bottom of this, okay? Now, compression is really important. If you don't do a good job of compressing this and making the particles really dense, you're probably going to get a crack that's in the shape of an S, all right? Kind of like a Shazam signal. And that just means that clay down there just doesn't have that compression. And so you always want to do a good job of not necessarily thinning it out, but sort of flattening it a little bit, okay? So I'm going to take this, run my hands across again. And if you notice, I've got this really sort of flat disc-like shape. And for thickness, I like about that. So even though it's 7.5 pounds of clay, I want to make sure that I'm able to put a nice foot on there. All right? So I'm going to take my S12 rib and I'm just going to work this area over, making it nice and flat. If I need to add a little bit of water, all right. And that's probably pretty good for now. Now I'm going to go ahead and start to bring it up. So I'm going to take this, all right, I'm going to push on this section here and kind of drive this up. And at the same time, I'm driving it down on the inside. All right, and then this just bringing this up, almost like a cake plate in some ways. All right, yeah, I'm just gonna keep pushing this out, and now we're gonna go ahead and flatten this inside again. All right. All right, and once we get this, I'm going to go ahead and just bring it up a little bit more. Now here's where the fun part happens. Now that I've kind of got that basic shape, I want to go ahead and take my wooden rib, set this bottom, just make sure this is nice and perfect. Okay, again, holding this in this position will allow me to do the centering of that. Do a real nice job of when I flip it over of really paying attention how I have that centered. And then the last thing is I'm going to take my S12. I'm going to hold it on this angle and slightly fold it. So I'm going to do this at about, I don't know, like 4 o'clock or so. Again, a little bit away from me. I'm just going to lay this down, kind of like a lathe. And then this whole top section should kind of drop down. All right, you ready? Here we go. I'm going to take this and how does that look? Does that look good? That's pretty much what I want to get. If you want to flare this out a little bit, you can. All right. And just open it up just a little bit. Kind of like the way it was, but I think that looks good. I'll just give that a good cleaning. Oh, and one other little tip. So let's go ahead and show you what this looks like. So this is the side profile of it. This is the top of it. But when I cut it with the wire tool, I actually like to elevate it up. So I'll put it on the top of my bucket. And this really allows me, so if I'm using the wire tool, that this doesn't get curled up and kind of have a really sort of little bit of clay in the middle. It kind of helps to keep it all down. So I take my wire tool, I tuck this in like this a little bit, all right? And then I get it to the lowest point. And then I'm the wire tool is actually below the bat, and then I'm just gonna swipe this, okay? Just like that. And that's perfect. And that's how you make a large sort of flat plate bowl.